So Allan was on my team, and he didn't report to me, but I kind of felt like he was a surrogate report. I I really liked working with him. I was helping him with a lot of stuff on his career, and it was just really nice to get to know him over the course of the time I've been here. I haven't been at Robert Half that long, but when I first started, I remember he seemed like the awkward guy in the corner, and the more and more that I would talk to him and I would notice him opening up to me, and then once I started as a manager, I really felt that he had an explosion of personality that I hadn't seen before that just really made me feel like I was connected to him. So I'm really gonna miss him.
All right, so a couple memories of Allan. Allan had the cubicle or desk or table, whatever we call it, about 3 seats down from me here when I started at Robert Half. I feel I was one of the few that actually understood Allan, tried to get him out of his shell. He was my version of Sheldon Cooper in real life form. I never met somebody who was so particular on what they ate every day. I mean, heaven forbid, we had pizza on a Wednesday and it was, you know, Chinese chicken day for Allan. He wouldn't eat with us. His huge jar of peanut butter, which I think he fixed the results so that he would win. I do remember at one point Allan had both the tables to the left and right of him, and he crossed his fingers and hoped that he'd have females on either side of him when the new hires came. You know, he never wanted to give up the 3 desks, but if it was going to be anybody, it would be females. Little did he know that the person who would take the desk to the left of him would come along and be probably his best friend at Robert Half. I do remember passing. Allan lived near me, but not close enough that I would see him all the time. But I do remember driving past him one day when he was out walking his dog. I gave him a honk as like, hey, how's it going? Allan jumped about 3 feet, thinking someone was running him off the road because he was walking his dog at a slow pace. It wasn't until Monday where I was like, no, I was just waving hi. My kid asked me for about 10 minutes who I was honking at, because they were trained that when you honk at somebody, it's because you're mad at the way they're driving. And I'm like, no, that's Allan. Lastly, you know, I think one thing I'll miss when the holiday season comes is Allan liked to buy the holiday sweaters, you know, and I one day asked him, like, Allan, where do you get all these? He's like, oh, I just shop on Amazon. And then we realized that yes, Allan would spend probably 2 hours before the holiday season on Amazon buying as many of his holiday sweaters / t-shirts that he was so proud of. So definitely gonna be missed seeing Allan and his smiley face and when he's shaking his breakfast shake every morning. So he'll be missed.
I know it's right now it's very overwhelming to even talk about it, but I would just like to say that when I first met Allan, we were launching Eloqua, and he was great with the operational side of it, and he was really helpful. He was at first very conservative guy, but I think so over the period of time he just opened up and we got to know who he is. He used to love his dog, he used to love walking. We will miss you, Allan. Yeah, that is.
Hey, my name is Jay, and I used to know Allan from Robert Half. It's very tragic that what happened to him. I knew him as a colleague who was a little shy and introvert at first, but funnily he used to live in the same neighborhood where I live, and we used to meet actually at the food trucks on every Friday. And at that time I realized it's a completely different Allan that I know him from work. He was more of an extrovert who loved her dog Noelle, who really care about her, play with her, and even talk about people and have fun times with him every Friday. Yeah, just want to say I'm just gonna miss him when I go to food trucks on Friday, and may he rest in peace.
I have actually 2 favorite stories of Allan that I would like to tell. One is that one of our co-workers, Susan Yolton, gave him the nickname Whiz Bang Genius. So anytime there's a problem that we need to solve and no one can figure it out, let's call the Whiz Bang Genius. and Allan would just light up because he knew it was about him. And the second thing I would like to share is Allan normally wore roughly the same thing a couple of times a week, so he wasn't big into a wardrobe change until Christmas. Starting the first day of December, Allan would wear the ugliest sweatshirt, Christmas-oriented sweatshirt, and he had one for every day. So it was the Beatles, it was Rudolph, it was something, Patriots, but they were all ugly sweatshirts with the Christmas theme, and that was Allan. So I saved a photo that we took together with his Beatles sweatshirt and his Santa hat on, and I'm gonna cherish that for my life.
So the first memory I ever had of Allan, I came into the office early. It was when I first started working here, and I was on the email team. And I remember it was like 7:45, 8-ish, and it was pretty quiet in the office. And I just remember hearing Allan talking to his vet about his dog Noelle, and he was talking about her bathroom issues. And after about 3.5 minutes of hearing about doggy diarrhea, I decided to myself, I'm never ever coming in before 9 a.m. again. And I think the people I work with know that is still true. That was the first memory I had of Allan. I got to know him a lot better as we went on. And I remember like I'd walk by and I'd call him like, the king, the king. And he'd be like, Justin. But it was, I was obviously just trying to, try to get him out of his shell a little bit. And as I got to know him more and more, we would go up to the food trucks and hang out by where we live, and I'd see him, that guy, I saw him. But I would go and I would see him down the food trucks. We'd have a couple beers and talk, and I'd see him with his dog all the time, and I had my dog. And the last memory I had of Allan, I was hanging out, it was him and his parents came up, and we had some laughs, and then I went on and I was walking my dog away, and I turned around, and Allan had a bunch of women around him, like looking at his dog and petting his dog. And it was at that moment I realized, like, that's why he treats his dog so well. Ladies. But my other thought was, like, Allan he was such a good dad to his dog. He was such a good, and as somebody who's, I guess, in his 30s, who's a single dude who has a dog, she's like my kid, and that was Allan's kid, that was his child. And to see how just good and loyal, and you can really tell a lot about somebody sometimes by that. And I feel so lucky to have gotten to know him, to gotten to know his parents, and Friday nights are a little different for me, and they're going to be a little different, so I'll miss you.
So I think one of my favorite memories of Allan is when I first interviewed him. He came out from Boston for his in-person interview right before we hired him. And it was a nice interview. It was, normal kind of back and forth between, tell me about what you do in this situation, tell me what you do in another situation, tell me about your experience with this technology. It was all said and done, and he flew back to Boston, and we were considering about whether to hire him or not. And then a few days went by, and I got a handwritten thank you note in the mail from Allan. Like, not an email, not typed up, but handwritten, a thank you note, a card actually, that just really was really genuine, and I really appreciated that from him. And he was a really nice guy. He was a really genuine guy, and I think that was just that's what really sticks out in my mind when I think about Allan, is that handwritten note that he sent to me after his interview. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Richard Russum. I was a close colleague of Allan's. I worked beside him for the past 9 months and got to know him really well. Each day, coming in to greet him with a good morning, I got to know that he might not have been a morning person, but then I realized that it wasn't that he wasn't a morning person. He just wasn't a person that just spoke to anybody without having some emotion involved. So what I want to say is Allan was a caring person. He was a careful person, and someone who, once he got to know you, he fully made sure that you were aware that he cared about you and he wanted you involved in his life. And I just want to let everybody know, the family and friends, that he will be really missed, and he was a great person, and I loved him. Thank you.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began.
You know we started.
Oh, I'll tell you